Neil before Zod, issue 1, Joe Casey writing with Dan McDade on the art. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm so glad that it took me two to try to read this because I fell asleep reading it, and it wasn't for lack of care. It was so wordy, and every character sounds the same.
Yeah, it's definitely wordy. Some of those bubbles are packed with words. But I think for me the big thing is just that it takes a really specific it's a really acquired skill to be able to write a character who's not a hero as the main character of a story, right? Obviously there's great examples across different mediums of anti-heroes or whatever, but fundamentally, as I'm reading this, and we've got Zod just talking about wanting to build new Kandor as new Krypton effectively, and all these plans. But what it ends up becoming is just him bickering with his son for half the issue, and then him throwing his son off the planet. That's the basic plot of this. Yeah. There's some murmurs about the United Planets and them staying away or whatever, but for the most part, it's Zod family drama, and I could not be less interested in Zod family drama.
So I like the ideas that this is playing with. Did you go back and read the action backup?
No.
Yeah, so the action backup sets the stage for this in that there's something going on with Zod, and Ursa's picking up on it, and his son's picking up on it too, in that yes, Zod's trying to build new Kandor, but he's also using the Phantom Zone to hide technology from the United Planets, and it's almost like he's amassing a fleet to go and to spread out. So that's what his son finds in the last part of that issue, and that's what sends his son kind of for them to bicker. It would have been nice for them to kind of set that up here, because if you're just reading this, it just feels like them bickering. And I kind of don't like the kid. The kid's really, like, I don't know if that's the point, but it's like Damien with none of the charm, none of that, the tut that we used to get from Damien.
Yeah, the kid's kind of just annoying to read. So the big thing, though, is that the kid's actually mad at Zod because he's not using his giant weapon of mass destruction on anyone.
Yep.
And Zod's like, no, it's a deterrent. The most effective thing here is mutually assured destruction. Like, that's how Zod believes you keep peace, not by working together and trusting other planets, but by making sure that they're scared to ever attack you. So you get a little bit of that. Honestly, the most interesting thing is right at the start, actually, which is that Zod seemingly is talking to Jor-El, but then after a couple of pages, Eradicator, who's the computer here, is basically like, who are you talking to? There's no one else here. No one's shown up. So they're doing this thing where Zod is like talking to Jor-El like Dexter talks to his dad.
Yeah.
In that TV show. He's just seeing like an imaginary version of his old rival, which was a vaguely interesting idea. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then the rest of the issue, I could not have been more bored.
Yeah.
And this was the thing that made me not read the Beast World Tour book, because I read this, I got to the end of it, and the thought of reading another book that I didn't want to read just filled me with such dread that I was like, okay, you know what, I'm done.
For me, it was because again, I like the ideas at play here, with them playing with we're gonna develop a new Kryptonian culture, because the last one was it failed so hard, it's no longer around. So we're gonna do it based off of the Zod family, and part of that, is like the Zods would send the firstborn son out for these trials, and if they're strong enough, they'll come back. And I feel that's also them setting up that, Sinister Sons, Super Sons.
Yeah, for sure. They're setting that up. But also Ursa's pregnant. We should mention that.
Yeah, that's why I was going to get to that one too. Is it's also setting up the idea of a bigger family, and but like just the whole idea of them trying to institute this new Kryptonian culture. I like that idea and how it fits in with the United Planets, because they're not working with Superman, but maybe they'll work with Zod because he's maybe more in line with whatever's going on with the United Planets. But I just wish all of the characters sound the same. Like to me, I got confused at one point because there were some dialogue bubbles that were going. I got them confused, but it's because they sounded so the same.
It's when Zod's talking to his son. It sounds like the same person's talking to each other.
And I'm just like, wait, what is this conversation going on? Like, and then it does it again with Zod and Ursa, where they're talking about, the whole Zod family, dynasty and this stuff. And I was just like, okay, this is writing for the sake of writing, and I'm not following here clearly. So it was kind of a shorter read.
It's almost like they're trying to keep the villain mystique of Zod alive, but if you're going to make him the main character, you have to actually let us get an insight into him and see him feeling like a moment of weakness or a moment of something, Well,
and that's why I liked him talking to Jor-El, because it's Jor-El prickling at him, and then kind of Jor-El.
Yeah, that's what that was accomplishing, but then it goes away. I actually, I'm skimming through it now. I'd completely forgotten there's a whole second half where an alien force tries to invade the planet and Zod just kills them all.
Yeah, so that's the other part too, is that so this is jumping off from where Zod takes over that planet, which I think that was in Hal and Pals during early Rebirth. Right, so it's the planet Jakul. That's another thing in the backup, is that he's essentially using eugenics to create a bigger warrior, right? And that's what him and his son are arguing about. Is that his son thinks that they should use him to conquer. He thinks that no, which I still think that's what they're going to do, because Zod is a conqueror, right? But anyways, they're training them to be more fierce, and it's almost like they're creating a new Doomsday. Right? Where they're just taking the most nasty, vicious ones and creating more nasty, vicious inhabitants of this planet.
If the book's doing anything, it's doing, because this is what Ursa talks to Zod about. She's basically like, hey, you're not the man I know. Like, this thirst, or even Jor-El, the fake Jor-El says it at the start, like, your basic mode is to conquer, and if you don't have a war to fight, then you're kind of lost.
Yeah.
So this is Zod trying to build a new world. And maybe the whole idea of the story is that he's eventually going to give in and sort of just become the Zod he always is, because he doesn't know how to be anything else. But I did not enjoy reading it. It was not that fun. The only thing that I thought it was maybe doing the second half is that when the aliens show up, they say, oh, this world's like weak and like right for the picking. I thought they were going to reveal that Zod's son had like told them that, and that he had sent them there, because it's like a month later, there's like a time jump in the middle of the book. But it never comes up, so if that is the case, then I don't know.
And these aliens are the Kuns, who are the brutish aliens that, people use in DC when you need kind of like a marauding band, of them. And so to have Zod take them out so easily, it did kind of show he still got it. But at this point, what is it? And yeah, I wish I liked this book more, because I was looking forward to it. Because I do like Zod. I like the idea of Zod, and I like the ideas that are being played with. I just don't like the execution of this.
Yeah, did nothing for me. On top of everything else, it felt like there was multiple points where they could have had like a dramatic final page, and instead it kept going, and then the actual final page just felt like a sudden stop.
Yeah.
So it's not even, doesn't even feel like it's got a good structure to it either as an issue. The art by McDade, I think, is kind of just middle of the road.
Fine. Yeah,
I don't really feel particularly strongly about it. I think some faces here or there feel a bit flat in a way that is unappealing. Generally, though, it is fine, I would say, but nothing special. I think that's where I stand on that. Yeah, just kind of a weak chore of a read, to be honest. No interest in checking out issue 2. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'll be skipping that. Thank you. All right, what are you rating Neil before Zod issue 1?
I'm rating it as a 5.5.
Yeah, I'll go 4.5.
Oof.
Yeah, did not like it. Not for me. That's okay.